Faced the toughest of criminals from East Palo Alto to Los Angeles and the cities of Sacramento. And I've been shot at and I've been beaten. I've been on the streets for over 36 years. And I am not afraid of a criminal, and I'm certainly not afraid of law-abiding citizens possessing weapons. My view is while on patrol, I've come across hunters, and I'll tell you, they were carrying weapons. I wasn't afraid of them. Instead, I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable because I knew they were trained, because I knew they knew how to handle a firearm, and they knew the rules about when you can possess it, how you carry it, and when you can display it. So I embrace the residents of our community, of our county, who desire their choice to exercise their Second Amendment rights. And I would support them with all my heart and passion and tenacity in that right. Thank you.
My feelings are strong, and they will continue to be strong. It is our right. It's not to be interpreted. It's not a privilege. It's not something that the founding fathers said that we would interpret or change or look at or maybe change down the road. It's not up to an individual man or woman to change. It's our God-given rights. Those rights shall not be infringed upon, nor shall they be taken from us. As your sheriff, that is first and foremost in my campaign.
I too share in the belief of the Second Amendment. You know, the Second Amendment was part of our Bill of Rights, ratified in 1791. Can you think of too many documents that have withstood the test of time like that? I mean, so it's a powerful, powerful document. And it was contained in the Bill of Rights. It wasn't the Bill of Suggestions, it was the Bill of Rights. So that gives each of us the right to bear arms. That's a power. Our founding fathers meant exactly what they said. This is a 27-word document. It's not a protracted document with full of legalese and dangling participles that's not easily understood. This is an extremely straightforward document that says exactly what it means, and we as United States citizens have an obligation to fully embrace it. Whether I believe in it or not, I happen to believe in it. But whether I believe in it or not, I have an obligation to embrace it. For the individual who doesn't want to carry a gun, doesn't want to possess one or utilize it, they have that right. But I would also advise that individual to respect the rights of those who do want to possess and utilize firearms. The Second Amendment is a powerful, powerful document. And as your sheriff, I will certainly embrace it to the fullest extent. Thank you.
Well, let me tell you how Stan really feels about it. That's okay. Stan and I run into each other all the time at these campaign things, and we kind of rip each other apart. Listen, every one of these guys here, and I spent the least time thinking about this because it's the simplest answer. We've all been under oath to support, defend the Constitution of the United States. Simply all support and defend the Second Amendment. It's that simple. We can go on and on about things I've read in books, but it's the simplest, straightforward, and Ernie's taking credit for knowing there's 27 words in it. We all know Jack Sweeney told us that a couple of days ago. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
I counted them twice.
We'll go ahead and have Craig start us out on question number 3. Outline your criteria for the issuance of CCW license.
I think you have to start with me on that one. I'll tell you why I say that is because if the only person working for the sheriff's office, obviously, you're looking for me to defend our policy. Our policy can be streamlined, and our policy can be made more user-friendly. When I looked through it, and I've looked through it several times, I looked through it as late as an hour before I came here, and I was going to look through it a whole bunch more times, but I had people ringing my ear off with that, with J.C. Newgart's kidnapping. I work in the jail now, so everybody wants to come and visit this dirtbag that molested this girl for so long. Anyway, that process can be streamlined. There's no one thing in the process that anybody's really afraid of. The biggest thing is the next question, and we'll spend a little bit of time on that. It's the due cause, it's the just cause. That's what people are concerned about. The letters, they don't mean anything, and the background doesn't mean anything. It's the cause, and we'll get into that more. If you weren't worried about what the cause was, you wouldn't be worried about what our process is. If our process took you a little longer to get through it, that wouldn't bother you, as long as you knew you were going to be treated fairly and equitably, and as long as you knew that the buck stopped with this guy here, and that's what will happen. It'll be very, very simple, the cause, and you'll see as we start talking about it, there's really simple ways to deal with it. The letters, for instance, the letters, if you really knew, are just kind of our receipt to put in the file to show that you're a pretty good person of character. They should be followed up. We should call up the people and say, did you write the letter? Is this person a good person? And then that's what we have in the file to help prove that you're a good person of character like the law requires. But we're so afraid of those, of the little parts of it, because of I'm stopping.
Thank you. All right, Ernie, you're up.
Okay. If I could just piggyback a little bit on the letters, you know, quite frankly, Scott Peterson could probably get 3 letters to attest to his moral character. And listen, I say this in all due respect to Jeff Hughes, he's a friend of mine, but you know, unless we do backgrounds on the people who actually write the letters, and then where does it stop? As your sheriff, I will tell you right now, we will have a policy to address people's needs that have a CCW in this county. Section 12050 through 12054 pretty much outlines what our application process will be. I realize now that there's been some additional encumbrances placed on it, etc. I want to make it as streamlined as possible and as user-friendly as possible. The 3 things that the application is going to address: good moral character. You have to be willing to submit yourself to a background check. I think everyone is willing to do that. You have to take the requisite training. Everyone wants to do that. It's a very, very good idea. The real issue, as Craig talked about, is good cause, and I'll defer to that in a few minutes when we start answering that question, because that is a huge concern right now. It's the fairness of this program, the policy to address people's needs to have a concealed weapons license. If I said permit earlier, I stand corrected. It's actually a license, not a permit. We often call it that. So, at any rate, as sheriff, I will have a policy to address the needs of people to have a concealed weapons permit. Thank you.
It's very simple. It's 2 words: apply and receive. We don't have criminals checking their wallets to see if they have a valid CCW when they go to rob a bank. We don't have criminals applying for CCWs. You are all law-abiding citizens. Once you apply, once you pass through the process that the state requires, the sheriff should not interfere. Apply and receive.
It's hard to follow that. And I guess what I tell you is I wish I would have stolen that phrase earlier. Because that about sums it up. I will not be the sheriff who imposes any of my